no matter how hot or alluring the woman is, somewhere there is a guy who is tired of her shit. So this speaks to the pedestalizing of women, especially here in the West. Most average guy, you get him in the room with a bunch of pretty girls and they just turn into jello. They just start falling all over themselves. They try to do things and please these women to get their attention, and they stop being themselves. They in other words, they turn into something that they're not. And so the reality is, for the average Western guy that's never kind of got their dream woman, so to speak, is that they pedestalize women. And no matter how hot she is, no matter how interesting you think she is, somewhere there's a guy that's not only tired of her shit, but he's tired of fucking her. And it's true.
Sad truth.
So don't put people on a pedestal, because when you do that, you treat women like a celebrity. They're going to treat you like a fan.
Yeah.
Keep you in friend zone. Maybe they'll let you come over and unclog their toilet after the guy who they're having sex with blows it up in the morning before he leaves.
Yeah.
And she needs it fixed before he comes back at night.
The woman starts to take control, and the guy doesn't like that. And that never really ends up right. Because even you have said before, like, no guy, like, you mentioned a relationship where both of them started looking like each other. Like, the woman started, dressing up. It was more like t-shirt,
Yeah, she cuts all her hair off, stops wearing makeup, gains weight.
Yeah.
Then they both get shirts that have arrows pointing to the other one that says "I'm with stupid."
Yeah.
Everything's baggy. They just, she leads them around, and they sit there at lunch or dinner, and they're flipping through their phones.
Mm-hmm.
Their kids are there at the table flipping through, and like nobody's even talking. They're not having a good time.
Yeah, it loses that like pizzazz in the relationship, which it had once before. So I think it's crazy. Like, no matter how hot or alluring the woman is, like, exactly. Like, once you start switching up, at first he fell in love with her, right? Maybe it's isn't it looks first, the first thing you notice?
Well, men are visual creatures. Look at all the effort you guys put into getting noticed.
Yeah. Well, I do it for myself, not for anyone else.
Yeah. I don't do this for a man.
Yeah, I definitely do it to make...
I sense a little bit of an emotional charge with that statement.
Yeah, because what do they say? When you look good, you feel good. Yeah. And I know when I don't have my makeup on and I'm not dressed nicely, I feel so bummy and ugly and, like, not in my best potential.
Yeah. You look good, you feel good, and when you feel good, confidence shows, and when the confidence shows, it attracts the guy, I guess.
It attracts good things, that's what I say.
Yeah.
So in other words, no matter, because Chunky and I were discussing this, how we now have a Caroline and Jocelyne simp army that is starting to assemble, is that you guys got some fans.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is somewhere there's a dude that's like, ugh.
Yeah.
That's when the roast army comes in.
The roast army.
Yeah. They'll fight with each other. One is like, no, she's so attractive. The other one's like, not really.
Yeah.
You should see her in the morning. She got the worst morning breath. Oh my God.
Yeah. Her without makeup, forget about it.
Don't let her spend the night, because, man, when she goes in the bathroom in the morning, she blows it up in there.
Oh my God.
You're never the same. You never look at women the same after that.
That's so sad.
But going back to the question, when I saw the question, I kind of took it in the way of, like, first impressions. Like you said, Corey, men are visual creatures, and it attracts them, obviously. And once they get to know you, it's usually a 50-50 chance. And what I mean by that is there's a 50% chance that you might like her, and there's a 50% chance you might not. So that's why it's really important when it comes to looks to kind of overlook it. To not overlook it too much, my apologies. Because once you get to know the girl and the connection's not there, and it's not the type of girl you would have expected.
You got to treat him like an equal, though, to even get to that point.
Yeah.
Because, the idea is you got guys that see a pretty girl or pretty girl on TikTok and they're fucking flipping out over it, and then they're, I mean, you met enough guys, and so have you, or when a guy really likes you and he just turns into jello and he's kissing your ass and his compliments are all ass kissery, and his physiology just completely changed as soon as he saw you, and it gets old after a while. But the reality is everybody's gets bad breath. They feel shitty. They puke sometimes. Their farts stink like everybody else. You guys get BO. In other words, just regular people. Treat everybody like an equal. Don't put a chick on a pedestal and act like you're unworthy, because she's gonna treat you like you're unworthy. If you act like a bitch, women are gonna treat you like a bitch.
It can actually backfire with either one. Say the girl doesn't find you attractive, you find her attractive, and then eventually things hit it off, and then she finds you attractive, and then the plot twist is you don't find her attractive. It's this weird thing. It's one of those moments where, like, guys start gaining interest in you, and then they get bored after a while. It's like one of those things.
Yeah, we'll keep it going.
We'll go on to number 8.
Just
so
keep going right now.
Say what you were going to say.
Okay,
Pop off, sis. Pop off.
I was going to just put someone on blast in the comments that has to correlate with this, because they commented, looks only get you so far. And to go along with, no matter how hot you are, the guy will get tired of your shit. So to keep in mind, just because you're so pretty and you look so good, like, at one point, they can get tired of you, not just on physical appearance, but who you are. And just because you're attractive, it's not going to hold onto anything. But I do think that was a rude comment, but it correlates with what we were talking about right now.
I personally, I think when it comes to comments like that, they're saying that you are pretty, but for me, if someone were to tell me that, I might get offended. Reason being is because you only see me as pretty, but I could be smart too. So when a guy tells me that, it actually does kind of offend me, because you're saying, yeah, I'm pretty, but that's it. Everything else, it's like.
Yeah, I think the intention is to be a little offensive. But,
that's how I see it.
You could think about it in a
positive. Well, a guy that feels
note.
inadequate those are the guys that belittle you.
Yeah.
That's what a narcissist typically does, is because they feel inadequate on the inside, and so they rip other people down in comments behind a anonymous avatar, because it makes them feel better, especially if they can get you triggered and pissed off and upset at them. Then they feel significant, which is one of our 6 human needs, because they got you pissed off and mad at them. You paid attention to them. That's all they really wanted, was to be paid attention to, even though it was a negative way to go about it. And that's why ignoring them, or what's funny, like sometimes people say nasty shit and I'll just like the comment.
Oh my gosh.
And it sends them in a fucking orb.
Yeah.
They all start talking, Corey liked it. They liked the comment. And then everybody starts trolling them. And then they end up deleting the comment.
Yeah, they probably delete it. They're like, oh my gosh.
Because it didn't go the way they planned.
What I find interesting is that guys like that have the goal to comment those things, and yet their profile picture is some random graphic, and you don't even know how they look like.
Yeah.
So you have the guts to do that, and yet you don't have the guts to show your face.
Well, they're typically leaving comments like that because they don't like how they look. That's
Exactly. Their looks didn't get them far, so that's why they're commenting that.
No one will ever do or say anything to you that isn't a direct reflection of how they feel about themselves in a moment.
Period.
Yep.